Why am I the only one getting into this? Come on now, let's move. I feel like Richard Simmons, sweating to the oldies.
Well, you just called yourself out there, Doc.
Well,
Oh.
truth hurts. Truth hurts. Truth hurts.
That's all right.
Anyway,
What's
good
going on,
evening,
everybody?
everyone. Hi, what's up?
Hey.
What's up?
What is up?
Good to be
What is-
here.
Yeah.
I can't tell. I can't give my normal answer for that on this podcast. So
No, not on this one.
Keep it PG.
yeah. All right. Time for me to mute.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the Convene Communities podcast. We are without Matt Curran tonight. He's on bed rest, orders from his nurse at home. Let's see, how did he put it? She slapped him down, I think is what he said.
He needed to be.
Needed to be.
Right. Yeah.
Nurse
pretty-
Tisha is boss.
Mm-hmm.
She's boss.
So you guys are stuck with the four of us, which I think is a good thing. So everybody knows who you guys are, but just for the one or two that don't, Brenda down there and on my bottom left. Say, hey, Brenda Warren.
Hey.
I got Laurel Marr down on my bottom right. There's Laurel, and then the bald guy Doc right there. Nope, right there. Yep.
Oh, hey.
That's you.
That's nasty.
Yep, that's you. So,
Hi.
yeah, looking forward to this. We're going to just do a bit of a, not really a round table, but just a little bit of a community type talk, this little chat. We're just going to talk with each other. And yeah, with the topic of really what makes Convene different, right? We can talk about other experiences we've had with other different platforms, with our content, good, bad, and indifferent, and then really, what makes us at Convene different. So I've got a lot of different ideas and thoughts, and I know you guys do too. So, but maybe before we get into that, how's your week going, Brenda?
It was going.
How's your week going?
It was going pretty good until today. I decided to bend down, and all of a sudden, I realized I was 61 when I popped back up and realized I had herniated my back again. So.
I can relate to that a little bit. Last night at practice, we were short a player. We're doing some preseason just scrimmaging, and my girls said, Jeff, jump in. Oh, dear. So I haven't played in a while now. I can't really say I played. I just sort of shuffled around the field. But every once in a while, I turned differently, and there was a muscle that I had forgotten about. So I can relate to that.
Yes.
So how about you, Laurel? How's your week?
It's been a good week. Yeah, I am staying very busy and growing my community and constantly thinking about what's next for my community. So it keeps me happy. It keeps me busy.
That's great. Can't wait to talk a little bit more about that. So, Doc, you filled me in a little bit of your excitement today. What else? What else has been going on?
Yeah. So Matt has been putting me to task. So we are starting a brand new community group, but whatever we're calling it, I always get confused. For podcasters, podcasting basics for beginners. So super excited about that. Had me up all night till about 1 a.m. working on it. But we went live today with it. We're not completely ready yet. We're still waiting on some videos, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, you'll get there. So you were showing me earlier today, and I think they're this afternoon. That looks really good. So I like the way it looks.
Well, thank you.
Got some good groups in there. So we'll have you pull that up maybe a little bit later, and you can show everybody.
Absolutely.
So, but anyway, so let's do this. Laurel, why don't you just give a real quick, brief reintroduction of you, your groups, your communities, what you're doing, and then we'll go on to Brenda from there.
Yeah, all right. Well, I am the owner of a personal community called the Death and Resurrection Doula. I am a trainer for end-of-life doulas. It is a new and emerging field. I've, broken out in front, being the first and only in the world Christian doula training program.
That's great.
It's popular. I receive inquiries daily. And what I really love about it is I'm able to be in touch with my doulas, and it's such a level above the training I received. I received good training when I had my first ever, solo gig as an end of life doula. I felt very well prepared, but I wasn't connected to anyone. And there are efforts out there to connect doulas, but I'm doing it differently, and I'm able to because of Convene Communities.
Yeah. Well, we can dive into those specifics here a little bit.
Yeah.
But I know you're doing good things, Brenda. What about you? I know you've also sort of, I don't want to say rekindled a little bit of your content too, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm slowly but surely putting things in the portal and inside of the life community. That's where we are leveraging impact for entrepreneurs. And I think the best part about it is just trying to figure out what I want to add and what's going to be most beneficial to people. It's a personal community also. And I'm helping people close the gap between their desires and their reality. And I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's great. So, and then I've been working with the Uniquely You, the teens and young adults community, starting to help out Amy with the teacher tribe, getting into the teaching community. And I know that's a big topic right now in terms of sort of reinvigorating the teachers around the country and getting people on board with that. So it's pretty exciting. Soccer, going to put that back into use now that like I mentioned, starting with my soccer team back up again. So I'm going to start that group and use it with them. So, but so what other platforms, and if you don't want to mention the names, that's fine, but what other platforms have you guys used, and what was maybe a benefit and or hopefully the non-benefits that set us apart? So what have you guys, or how have you used other platforms with your content in the past?
I'm happy to start. I used
Sure.
Thinkific to train to be a doula, and I actually went on it today, preparing for this podcast. And a couple of reasons. One is I hadn't been on it in a while. I've been certified for a few years, and I decided not to do my continuing education there because I've started my own program. So I hadn't been on it in maybe a year, and I wanted to see if things had changed on the platform. Nothing looked different, at least in the modules that I purchased. But I was reminded there's absolutely zero communication between the training person and the person who's training. There's no communication. You could reach out through email, and I remember there was an email to like a support staff person, which was somewhat personalized, but I never got to talk to the woman who trained me. And
Wow.
particularly as a person who has a leadership personality, I would have liked that. Like, I don't sit in the back and say, "Oh, I'm just taking somebody's course." No, I want to know. Like, teach me, tell me, "Hey, I got an idea. Can I share it with you?" None of that. And I went back today to see if there was even a discussion board, a place to communicate with other people training. Zero. Nothing.
So they just put their content in and that was it.
That's what I saw on the models I purchased. I don't know if, there might be something different if I purchase it now, but I don't think so. Then quickly, I want to say I'm a part of a Bible study that is on Canvas. And I went in to look there today too. I've been pretty busy and haven't really been on to engage with any of the content since December. Not one thing had been posted. Not one person had made a comment on anything that was posted last year when they got the group up and running. I saw, some names, but I didn't really, I imagine maybe I could have clicked on them perhaps and communicate with them, but it didn't stand out to me as that. And so there was just not a lot of active collaboration that was going on. So, I just say, something I'm able to do because of Convene Communities and the all-in-one platform is I really can engage those I'm training, and it helps them engage with one another. Very simple.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to interject here real quick.
Oh, sorry.
For whatever reason, it looks like Restream is having a few issues, so it's not putting the comments that people are putting in the room for us to see. So I will keep you guys posted.
Okay.
Matt said people want access to an expert.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm seeing it. I got the Convene Facebook up too, so I can see some of those comments too, Doc. So, but Brenda, what about yourself?
I think that's the part for me is that I've tried many of the sites that are content creation sites. You name it, I probably have something on it. I call it the set it and forget it. And what left me feeling lost is that I'm a people person. I like connection, I like networking. What Convene offers me is the ability to actually talk to the people I'm training. Once I put a training in Convene and someone takes it, it is so cool to be able to get a email or something from their own discussion board saying, what did you mean by this? Or could you explain this better? It helps me be a better creator, provide better content. And also it gives me the opportunity to connect with other people. That's
Right.
unique to Convene. And on the other sites where you go and you put your content, is not that it's a bad situation. They do have a lot of pluses. The plus for me at the time when I first started content creating was that I could set it and forget it because I like doing business my way. I didn't have to go back and do anything with it. But once I got out of that and I'm going, I want something more, Convene showed up. And what Convene did for me is to get real-time collaboration, real-time connection with the people that are taking my course. So somebody pays $100 or $20 for a course, they're going to get to talk to me if there's a problem. And
Right.
I don't get that in any other platform that I'm a part of.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on your personality and how you want to run or use your content or get your content out there. Right. If you do want to just make the content videos or whatever the case it is, and just let it sit there and have people buy it and use it, great. In one respect, it's pretty easy. You don't have to do much else, right? You don't have to talk to people and collaborate with people and get messages back and forth.
There's a place for all of that. But what's good
Yeah.
about Convene, the platform with a purpose, is it is designed for servant leaders and those people that crave human connection and want real interaction with people. This is your place. This is your tribe. You're going to find your vibe. And here's the thing that none of those other platforms out there, and I went today to research some more. I have 6 pages of platforms, and you know what? Not one of them is offering the ability to make money in my sleep other than Convene.
Right.
As I promote other people's stuff right now. There's affiliate marketing, things like that. Convene does it in a different way that I literally can have someone come join me in my life community, not spend a dime. And I'm going to teach them how to make money in their sleep. And then if they decide they want group coaching and really take their business to the next level, then that's when they join my solutionist portal. And then, baby, it's on and popping because now they have access to me. They get the videos I do. They have so much more contact with me and the other people so we can network. There are over 3,600 something people on Convene. You have the opportunity, if you're a really good networker, to make some connections that will blow your mind, from people that are just creating content to multimillionaires. You don't find that a lot of places where you're not spending thousands of dollars to reach out to these people. But in Convene, you can come there, and even as a free person, you have access to those very same people, whether you join a paid portal or not.
That's right. Yeah.
Brenda, I think we're really going to need to work on you and have you come out of your shell a little bit. I don't know if
maybe get her a thesaurus.
Yeah, pick it up a little bit. Pick up the energy, would you? Jeez.
No, I'm so sorry. I'm not feeling my best today, so I'm just a little bit, muted.
Oh, no, you're not. You're faking it great.
Right. Well, but that's kind of the great thing. One of the many great things about Convene is, you can, if you really want to, set it and forget it.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's not what Convene was really built for, and that's not who everybody that's using it right now really is. Is like you said, it's more the servant leader, right? Someone that wants to have their content out there, that wants to educate people, that wants to interact and communicate and collaborate with other people, and especially like-minded people. Laurel, that's basically what you were saying. Is you got onto the other platforms, there wasn't that interaction. You didn't have other like people to talk and learn from, other than I'm assuming the videos or whatever the content was. But now with your community and the way you've set it up and your groups, you're constantly talking to people, whether it's on the platform or Zoom calls or whatever. It's just right up your own personality.
It is. And, I think one of the, real benefits of Convene is that, not only am I sharing with my doulas, the educational experience through seminary training and death doula practitioner training, as well as on the ground, experience from being a death doula since 2019 and working with families in the church prior to that, is that I'm teaching them how to be successful. And so I can give them, raw material. But how do we turn it into practice? And Convene allows us to do that through also teaching them the resources within Convene for them to go out and franchise what I'm doing and be successful like I'm successful. I think that's the problem with some of the other doula training programs is you're going to see the trainer successful and you're going to see the other people, absorbing the information. But how do we actually go out and practice it, particularly in a role that's very new?
Can I also mention here for what I think is amazing about what Laurel does is that she had a vision for something that, although there was doulas out there were no Christian doulas. Convene allowed her to take a program that she trained for and take it to the next level, and then take it to the next level for other folks in other states all around the country. I'm waiting for the international version of Laurel's Wing, which is probably
let me share. Right now. Let me share. I'm going to start training in South Africa. I'm very excited, and I have really been working through this. Actually, I've had a conversation with Matt Curran today on what does it look like to franchise outside of America. I mean, my training program is based on the U.S. legal system, based on the U.S. medical system. But it's going to be different. I have a doula training in Canada, very similar, but she said there are differences, right? So I say to her, well, I need you to help me, understand these differences. So we can make sure that an extra coming in from Canada is getting the training they need. And then same thing in South Africa, same thing in, around the world. But there's one particular thing that will not change. And that is what I have established in a field that has no regulation. What exactly is a Christian end-of-life doula? What does it look like? What is the value? What can someone expect? Do you have to be a Christian to train? No. Do you have to be a Christian to hire an end-of-life doula for my program? No. But I'm establishing a precedent with a Christian worldview, and people can choose whether or not they want to participate in that, or whether or not they want to hire a doula from that. That's up to anybody. It's fully inclusive. But that value part of establishing the standardization of what a doula can expect through their training and what someone who is looking for a doula can expect to hire is what I'm franchising around the world.
But look at this, the collaboration that you're able to do, the fact that you're doing something international, we're having connections with other people to show us how you're not alone when you're in Convene. If you don't know something, someone in Convene knows it. And if they don't know it, there's someone in Convene willing to research it out for you. I'm one of those people. I am a master researcher. If I don't know anything, I thank you. I will research it and I will bring it back to the group where, there's a lot of other places where you can join, but guess what? They're going to charge you every time you ask for something that's not in this here thing. The part about Convene is we have so many resources that are willing to give up their gifts, which is how we all rise together. If you cannot, I would say, if you can't succeed in Convene, you can't succeed anywhere because there's too many people that are invested in each and every one of our success to fail. The only way you fail here is if you just do not want to succeed.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you just mentioned that because some of the notes that I was writing down beforehand leading up to it is one of the things I wrote down is what makes us different, right? Well, we're a community on the platform, communities, right? On the platform, there's communities everywhere. But I think what really sets us out on that is we're a community off the platform as well, right? And I'll go back to the call we had on Monday, and I'll reference a lot of the other calls here at some point here soon, but I'll go back to the call on Monday. I hadn't been able to be on many of the Monday calls over the last couple of months. And so I was able to get on that call on Monday, and it was immediately a community. it was the same group of people plus a couple of news people coming on and listening, and just the feel of sharing, the feel of support that people were giving when they were sharing their stories. Like Laurel, you just mentioned you were on the phone with Matt today. Brenda, I know you talked to Eugene quite a bit, or have in the past. I mean, at any time, if anybody needs any help with anything, or just bounce ideas, it's a phone call away or a Zoom away. That sense of community. So somebody coming into, Jazzy, the lady was coming at, maybe you brought her, Laura, Jazzy? Is that right?
I didn't mean Jazzy. Mm-mm.
Okay. Someone, I thought it was you. But anyway, so Jazzy comes in being referred to somebody, comes on the Monday call. And it's just a matter of sharing, hey, this is who I am. This is what we do. This is the community that I'm in. And by the beginning of the call, you get on a call with a bunch of new people and you just have a nervous look. By the end of that hour, she was completely relaxed. She was excited to get going. It was a great call. So again, community on the platform, community off the platform. It's a huge deal.
It is true. And
go ahead, Laura.
You sure? So I'm competitive, right? I want to lead. I want to, be the best. But that doesn't mean that we have to be competitive to the point where we usurp other people's success too, right? And so I think that there's just a really a giving attitude inside of Convene, that we want to see others succeed. It's not cutthroat, right? So you can have your competitive attitude, right? I want to have the highest grossing sales, or I want to be the best, death doula trainer in the world. That's great. And we should all aspire to be the best that we can be. But that doesn't mean that we're cutthroat business that doesn't, allow others to also succeed. And I think community really promotes that attitude. And I think we need that. Everybody's a little bit tired. I lived in New York City for a decade, and you can, you're so busy. Like, there's awesome aspects to living there, but you have to get in and find your community there, or you won't survive. And I think it's the same. I think that we're hungry for that, and Convene, by being collaborative, inner community collaboration is really important too.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. What were you going to say, Brenda?
I was going to say, one of the things I like about Convene is we don't have algorithms. So when we put our stuff out, whoever wants to see it can see it. And when you set up your profile, you get to decide how much or how little of things you see based on toggling the switch. If I want to see everybody's stuff, guess what? I can see everybody's stuff. If I only want to see a narrow view, I can do that. I get to choose what I do. We write blogs. We can see blogs from other communities. I love the training videos that we had, that if you're not sure, there's always somebody there. And the discussion boards alone too are just so amazing, because people in the group can actually answer you, as well as the person that wrote a specific training or does an experience within there. And it's pretty easy to use. Once you get used to the platform, it's just one of those things that you go, aha. And what I love the most about Convene is, as we grow and we change, I learn new ways every day to do things differently.
Right.
That I wasn't even sure that we had the ability to do, but it's just a matter of taking the time to learn the platform and use it what works for me. Because it goes back to, in the Solutionist Portal, I teach people how to do business their way. So if you're going to do business your way, I may not do it the way Laurel does it, but guess what? On Convene, I get to decide how I do what I do there by using the systems that they have in place.
Yeah.
And I think that freedom of choice is something I really enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. Doc, I know you said there's a question in the room, and I'm going to get to that question here in a little bit in a roundabout way, but I'm going to go back to the collaboration, back to the, Brenda, you sort of touched on it too, back to the learning and different things. And I actually, as you were speaking, I was looking at the screen, and there's the 4 little blocks, and I was thinking, if someone hadn't been to Convene yet, they would sort of see all the different communities as squares. Right. And then it dawned on me today. I was speaking to one of my students who's starting a group. Laura, you spoke to her a couple of weeks ago. We were starting to plan out her group and how she could, further the reach. And I referenced Laurel. I referenced Brenda in terms of if she ever wanted to reach out to Brenda about, writing and editing and all that sort of stuff. And then I mentioned actually Doc about being on the podcast, and if she ever wanted to come on, she could. So my point being, you can come into Convene communities through soccer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to find all these other different communities and all these other groups and interests, and those people are going to welcome you in, right? And we talked about, group leaders, content creators, and Amy even put in about leaders. And it brings me back to coaching. Coaches want people to succeed, right? And coaches are competitive too, Laurel. And coaches want to win and succeed. But the best coaches succeed because they have the best people under them succeeding through their tutelage. Well, very similar to communities, right? Come in through one community or one group. We can lead you to another group, and then you find your niche and you just start growing and growing and growing and becoming an expert. So Matt wanted to know, and I have to scroll down to it unless you have it pulled up, Doc.
I got it.
Yeah,
for
go ahead.
action here. So
Yeah.
he wanted to talk about the networking portion of the new group that we're starting. But I wanted to, before I get into that, I just want to say that the podcasting is so cool because I was producing a podcast for someone else, and the question came up about doulas and death doulas. I said, I have got the perfect person
The best
to
doula.
send you to. And it turns out that she was actually a student of yours, which is so cool. But
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yes. So
Well, she's one of my doulas who's now out looking around the communities.
very
Right.
cool. Very cool. So it all comes back full circle. And it's
It does.
I-
It's a
I
big,
joke-
I just,
go ahead.
oh, well, I'm sorry. In the olden days, not that long ago, neighbors, had a different meaning, I think, than today. And
For sure.
I think that, what are you going to do for your neighbor? You're going to help them, right? You see your neighbor out in the yard and you're walking your dog and you say hello and you ask him what's new. And you might say, hey, have you heard about this going on down at the, on Main Street? Well, that's how we are in Convene communities. We're really bringing back that aspect of, neighborly friendship. And, had I not joined, I would not know the three of you and all the other people that I know. And, we all live in different states, but here we are tonight. And it's really wonderful.
That's right. That's every Wednesday night. Correct. At 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be sure to join us.
Here's the thing. So you talked about networking there a minute ago, Doc. I've paid over $100,000 to be in masterminds, and part of the best part about masterminds is the networking. And I will tell you, the networking that I've done in Convene has been well on par with the very expensive masterminds that I'm a part of, because what the masterminds draw are like-minded individuals. In the masterminds that I'm paying big bucks to be a part of, they have best-selling authors. Guess what? We have several best-selling authors in Convene. They have multimillionaires. We have those in Convene. They don't have a death doula. I checked. But they have podcasters. They have realtors. We have realtors. We have finance people. We have Eugene training and teaching stocks. We have creators. We have collaborators. We have networkers. We have mastermind quality people. And we do a lot of masterminds on the fly right here in Convene when we're gathering weekly to do trainings, to do collaborations, to do exercises, to educate each other. If I wanted to know right now, like I do a thing called Biz Bites every week on my Instagram, and I'm telling about different technology that's used. If I want to do that, I also do that inside of Convene. I talked about word swag. Where else do you go where you can go and people are not charging you and they'll tell you about this stuff, tell you how to use it and hold your hand through it? They do that in Convene. You got Jody over here in the well, Dr. Mail, who I need to call about my back. So the thing is, there's so much available in Convene if people really understood what they have access to. And I want to say this loud and clear, FREE, for free. I was in Convene for 2 years, not paying a dime, getting paid. And I feel like it's one of the best kept secrets in social media. But we're going to build, we're going to blow up, and people are going to go, where did that come from? We came from like-minded people, building a community that we believed in, where we realized that we shine brighter together.
And
How many times
what
have
does
you
it
guys
mean?
heard Matt? How many times have you guys heard Matt talk about you need to do a podcast? If you're in the community, you need to do a podcast. And, that can be kind of intimidating if you've never done it before. And it may or may not lead you to suffer from a little bit of paralysis by analysis. But never fear, because now we've got a course in Convene to teach you all the basics of podcasting. And not only the basics, but we're going to go on. Well, you know what? While I'm talking about it, I may as well just show it.
Yeah.
Hey, Doug, how about this? And not only you have a built-in audience and built-in guests. All these amazing entrepreneurs on Convene, you have people to interview right off the bat.
Well, that's actually one of the modules in it, or not module, but the subgroup. So we're going to teach you how to basically do everything. We've got a lesson from learning what gear that you need for a basic setup. And I've even gone through and I've put links in for you, give examples. We got videos coming, don't worry. But so there's no longer an excuse to not podcast. And when you podcast, you get your business out there, right? And you can network. We're going to set our own little network up for getting podcasting guests. So we're going to teach you how to structure your podcast. We're going to teach you how to get guests. We're going to teach you all about distribution and the like. So, and for the low price of $20 or $19.99, you have Penny.
Well, keep that up. Well,
I can put it back up.
Yeah, put that up there real quick, Doc. So I want to hit on a couple. Scroll down just a little bit. So the bottom of it's out of the light there. Keep going. There you go. So scroll. I want to just mention or hit on a little bit of what Brenda was also talking about, making money in your sleep, right? So you have premier groups, right? So in Convene, we have free, we have private, and we have premier. Free, obviously free. Private, you pay a small charge of $9.99 a month, and you just have your own private group of people only you want in there, or they have to ask to be in there, right? Premier group, very similar, but now you can sell your content. Well, you know what, Doc? What if I have zero interest in becoming a podcaster, but I do know that you are very good at what you do? Well, I can make money in my sleep by sharing your group out and have people come in and purchase your groups, right?
I like the way you think, sir.
Yeah. So, and that can happen anywhere on the platform. So that's exactly what Brenda's talking about making money in your sleep. Something easy as that. So
easy. Well, I'll tell you about making money in your sleep. Sometimes, particularly when you go international and people are on a different time zone, you can wake up to a sale.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Multiple sales. You're like, oh, someone bought my thing while I was sleeping.
And here's the thing: we're not asking you to do nothing really extra, because you have conversations with people every day. All I have to hear is someone say, they want. I was thinking about stocks. I'm like, I'm gonna talk to them about Eugene now. And what I'm saying when you say, well, how do you talk about a death doula? Easy, end of life planning. You don't want to wait till you're gone. You want to plan now. That's where the beauty of what Laura does. Yeah,
makes a difference.
If you don't want to do a podcast like you said, all they have to do is promote that. Hey, I know this guy that has these classes over here. Go over there, and then they're going to make money. You want to get somebody business coaching? You send them to my solutionist portal. You're going to make money. And I think that is one of the most amazing things about Convene, that someone could actually join Convene, set up a profile, not spend a dime. They could then have their best buddy, for example, come in and join my portal and make money. Yeah. And they never spent a dime. That's crazy. I want to make a
point. So I started building content last January. So I'm a little bit here. In June, I did a launch of my program. So, my program's in depth, and but I was, sort of finished it up a little bit in the fall with the second module, training through that. really wanted to pilot a group through before I called it complete, right? I wanted feedback and all that. So now that I've done that, every time I have a sale, I haven't recreated the wheel for each sale, right? It's there.
Yeah.
I do teach live classes, so we go a little bit deeper into the content, but it gives people the option that they can be on a self-training pace, or they can come join to be in person. You don't have to be fully engaged if you don't want to. And so for some people, it doesn't work. They work full time and they need to do it on their own time. But even the fact that I'm available, that I've set the content there frees me up to work with the people when they have questions. I'm not constantly recreating the wheel for every group I take through, which I think is really important. Yeah.
Right. And the other thing about that, not necessarily podcasting, but when you do have these Zoom calls and these meetings with with your doulas or with your clients, Laurel, or really anybody that's doing Zoom calls, if I miss it, you record it and you put it into the group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yes,
anybody can do that, probably on any platform. But if I'm really invested in your group, or if I'm really invested in becoming a doula or a writer or a business professional, and I watch that video, well, then I don't have really access to you afterwards. I'm going to have questions during it, right? So there's the perfect opportunity. Here's the video. Here's the discussion board part of it, all in the same spot, right? Video, discussion board, all in the same experience. Or you're going to put up that video and maybe you just say, hey, here were the top 4 questions that came out of the hour conversation we have. What are your thoughts or your answers on it? And everybody goes in and types in their answers, and now you're learning from each other, right? That peer-to-peer learning. So it's just so many different facets
for the younger folks, or maybe not so young, that are doing online courses. Mm-hmm. And because I just went through this myself, the discussion boards that are mandatory as part of your grade to participate, this is not like that. Not at all. No. This is something where you're going to you put in a legitimate question. And the beautiful thing is, if you're embarrassed to ask a question, we have an anonymous feature.
There you go.
That you can ask away and not be embarrassed or worried or anything. So it's, I joke a lot about calling it a cult, and I kid, but it's really a fantastic platform. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. That's
right. We wouldn't be on your podcast without it.
But coming from a doula training program that was solo, I mean, she had live webinars, okay, and they were live. If you missed it, you could get it later. But the webinar is when you just look at the person who's teaching. You don't see the other classmates, the other mentees, right? But I really think that having the opportunity to discuss things live with other people present does impact the assimilation and the retention. And because if I were just to take a course and do it on my own time, not have anyone to talk to, who's checking me? Who knows that am I really learning this content? But when you are in the presence of other people, it impacts that, and it gives you a little bit of encouragement and it makes a whole difference, because you're not going to retain it likely if you just sit there on your own and stare at the screen.
Yeah. Well, and let me go the other way around it. And Matt just sort of mentioned it as well, is, with my soccer teams, I've been in that dark room watching video or showing the teams, the clips and the highlights, and you're learning from the games, and you're all falling asleep because it's dark and it's warm and it's kind of boring. Or maybe you're not playing in that game, but you really don't have any vested interest because you're not up on the screen. Well, I used it the last couple of years with my girls' team for small little clips. I just made experiences out of it. This was our game versus, whatever high school. And here's 4 3-minute clips. And inside those clips, what did you learn? Did you see this? What could we do better? And what did we do well? Right. And now those players, instead of sitting in a dark room before or after practice and half falling asleep because it's dark and warm and they're tired, now they're learning it. They're watching it on their own time. They're also then reading the comments from all their other teammates, learning from them. right? And then we've talked about it at practice. And I can't tell you, well, I am, but the amount of learning that they do through those sessions, rather than just being in a room and watching the video, is infinitely greater. And it's mainly because they're learning from their teammates, right? They're reading about something that happened in the game that they didn't see or they didn't recognize. And they're not hearing it from me, that they hear, my voice all the time. So that can be done in any situation, business, podcasting videos, doula videos, teaching. I've used it in the classroom a few different times this year already. So it's pretty advantageous. And Doc, like you mentioned, the anonymity piece is probably the biggest component of those learning videos with soccer, is especially girls, but the players struggle to answer the questions when their name's attached to it. But when it's anonymous and they know it's anonymous, they'll answer the question in sincerity. And I do want to hit on that piece as well, is we didn't put anonymity into Convene for people to be using it in the wrong way. Just because you're anonymous in name doesn't mean you can go and blast and say the wrong thing and be rude. And we have not seen one instance of that yet. It's the exact opposite. We put it in so people can be anonymous, so they can tell their stories, so they can get it out there properly, and then have others learn from it. And that's exactly what I've seen, both with the teams and in the classroom.
I see very little anonymous posting in my discussion boards. At the very beginning, there were a few, and I think people were more trying out the anonymous feature, but very little of it. But I do want to share a little bit of what, in my training program, what a week might look like. And so I have my training laid out in two modules, the theological module and the practitioner module. And so each module has 12 experiences. Experiences are the name for experiential lessons. And so it's not just me sharing my experience, but because I invite others into this course, they have a place to also share their experience, which impacts our learning as a whole. And I'm learning so much from the doulas that I train, and some of them have experiences that having done this and being in church ministry for 10 years, I've never seen, and the personal impact that it's had on their lives, they're able to share with others in the group. So it's really important. But anyway, so there's 12 experiences per module, and so each module I'm breaking down into 3 months. So we're going a quarter at a time. People are taking it faster than that. It's just that's the pace that I'm teaching it at.
That's your pace.
And yeah, that's my pace. I find that is a good pace. I may speed it up in the future, but right now it's a good pace. But anyway, they know what kind each week. And another reason it's taking longer is that every 4th week, I do what's called business development office hours. And it's an open forum where we don't have specific content, but I do, teach things. People ask questions. It leads me to teach more things. We look at the platform. We talk about our businesses. And so really, I could shave all those 4th weeks out, and we could do it in 9 weeks, and I could probably shave it down to 6 weeks if I really wanted to. But, it's not necessary. People who are coming into this role are taking, a leap into a faith into something else. And so, you don't need to train in one weekend and start your business. It's going to take time and really develop the skill. But they know exactly what's going on that week. They do their work. We get there, we discuss it. I go deeper into the material. And I think and there's places to make to make submissions. They have to submit their work. That part is anonymous. Then they go to the discussion board and talk more. But it continues to give us a place to repeat the information and read what other people are writing. And so the assimilation is very fun.
Yeah. Well, the pace of it, though, Laurel, no matter your program or whatever program, if somebody wants to go a little bit faster because they're maybe a little bit faster learner, or maybe they have some background and knowledge of it anyway, that's fine, right?
Totally
But
fine.
if they don't, or they want to go a little bit slower, they then have the opportunity to engage with not only you but other members. Whereas you were talking about on some of the other platforms, you don't have that, right? You go through all the videos or all the content, and if you're not quite getting it, that's too bad.
Who knows? Right. Who knows? There is no quality control in these other programs. Yeah, there's no quality control. They're attempting to make quality control, but you can't, through an association, but you need to be in touch with people to know how the quality of people's businesses are. And it may be that they're struggling. Well, we need to know, how can I help you? So what I'm going to launch this summer is a coach, is a third module. It's optional for people who want to be state and international leaders and become coaches to help doulas build their brand and their strategy. Because you go through my program, it does not mean that you have to be exactly like me. I'm teaching you the psychology and the practice, but some people want to incorporate, one of my doulas has her own service dog, and that is a part of her brand. I don't have that. One of my doulas is a musician, and music is a very big part of her work. So everybody's, branding themselves as they have with their gifts. And but we, quality control, not to go in and, look at people and say, I don't like how you're doing it, but it's like, how are you doing? Can I help you be better? Can I help you reach more people?
Yeah.
Laurel, you triggered me a little bit. You activated my PTSD when you said office hours, and the Marines in the room will know what I'm talking about.
I know office hours from Matt. I stole that from Matt.
It's not usually looked at as a positive thing. I'm speaking for a friend.
I got you.
Speaking
But
for a friend.
that's what I love about what Laurel just said about the different branding for each doula, because as I bring entrepreneurs into the Solutionist Portal and into the life community itself, we're teaching them how to use the platform so that they can build their membership, get referral fees, and other platforms don't have that kind of process within them. We're going to be able to teach them how to build their business and make money, and teach other people how to make money as well. The other thing that is amazing about Convene is because of that we're a group of content creators. I love that it has pushed me to learn more things to do. Here's just a few things I wrote notes on tonight. For example, if you want to create good content, one of the things a lot of people struggle with is, how do you do your recording and have your on-screen bubble so that you can show it and make really cool content? Well, inside the portal, I'm teaching about Descript, ScreenFlow, Camtasia, Zoom, Canva, Loom, and Ecamm. Those are just a few of the programs that you can use to make really good content. Some are Mac specific, some are PC specific. But if you don't know that, how do you make it better? When we share those kind of things in Convene, it not only makes me better, but it makes the other creators within Convene better, so that we are known for having excellent content that people can come. Where else are you going to go when you're a content creator and you get thrown into one of these sites and has to produce it? There's nobody saying, oh yeah, I can show you how to get on Canva, make a presentation by uploading a PDF. It's going to create your whole slide deck. And then I'm going to show you how to record it within Canva. That's just a basic quick one. You want a higher quality, then you want Ecamm. Those are the kind of things we show. By teaching that stuff, what happens is we grow our base, which helps us grow more people coming in, which potentially helps us grow more revenue.
Right. Yeah, great point.
I like to, granted, I'm new-ish to Convene as far as my group goes, but I like to think of myself not as teaching, but I'm facilitating, because what you guys said earlier was spot on the money. I'm learning just as much from everyone else as they are from me. So I just like to say I'm facilitating them along through my course.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And, I had that talk with another community leader actually this week. They're struggling to see themselves as a leader, even though they are. And that's not uncommon. And I even tell a lot of my captains this in the past, especially at the collegiate level, because they're becoming trying to figure out how to become adults. Well, coach, I'm not a leader, but they just elected me captain over there. Well, look, you don't have to be a leader. Just be a facilitator. Just make sure that your teammates are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then through that, you're then leading, right? You're learning how to be a leader. So good point, Doc. We got about 10 minutes left, and I want to make this point. So the topic is what sets us apart, right? What makes Convene different? We have a lot of different things, community off the platform, but community about the platform. So we have weekly Zoom calls, weekly calls, Convene communities led, right? Mm-hmm. Mondays, kind of the community leaders, premier members, welcome Q&A type call. We have the CPP, the Convene platform professionals call. We have coaching calls, right? We have all these different calls, these different meetings, these different trainings. And some would argue, hey, we're still small enough that we can do this because we're small enough. Well, I'm going to argue the opposite. Yes, that's true. But what Matt's doing and what we're doing as sort of core groups and core community leaders is we're setting the tone for the next group of people coming in, right? Absolutely. So when we do have 3 million, 300 million, 300, whatever, when we are the largest platform out there, we're still going to be having these calls. We're still going to be having these weekly meetings, but it's going to be done in smaller pockets, right? So the access to our community leaders, the access to our core group, if you will, the access to the business is still going to be there. And to me, that's one of the things that right now, maybe we don't totally see it, but to me, that's what makes us really special and what's going to make us very much succeed in the future. And it's similar to what you were talking about earlier, Laurel, is, you're the one of one in the world right now, correct? Mm-hmm. But you're not necessarily thinking that way in terms of, hey, I'm the know-all, do-all. You're thinking, I need to teach all these other people so that not only does your program and your word get spread, but all these people get better. Same with Convene, right? Right now, we're not the end-all, be-all. We're starting to teach. We want to bring other people in, set the standard for the future.
Let me just stroke Laurel's ego a little bit here. What you said is spot on. She is the person. Period. But that is so not her personality to mm-hmm. act or feel that way. She's as down to earth as anybody I've ever met.
Right.
Thank you.
It's true. Yeah.
Thank you. So. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You can do great things and want to do it with service. So, yeah.
I think that's a beauty of Convene too, is having like-minded people. Again, it goes back to being servant leaders. When you're servant leader, it's not about you shining brighter. Again, it's a group effort. And I think that's what makes another unique part about Convene, because we are drawing in the type of people that we are. We're not drawing in the haters or the crazy. We're not governed by likes or different things. We are actually a community that it has a knowledge base, that is sharing that knowledge base, that is collaborating, networking, and teaching all of us to be better at what we do. We're producing bestseller authors continuously, showing people how to do lead magnets, the podcasting stuff. I'm excited about what you did, Doc, what you just showed us, having all the equipment. That would have been nice when I first started podcasting, to have the ability to not only get that information, but actually talk to you so that I wasn't stuck. Because I have a whole thing full of equipment over here that I purchased that I don't even need.
It's true.
Yeah, you'll actually save money. I mean, you'll save money by talking to the expert. And I'll tell you, it's the same thing with an end-of-life doula. You save money by talking to an expert in end-of-life planning.
Yeah.
You do.
I saved somebody money just the other day. She's wanted to, again, it's going back to the software. And I always ask people, what software you currently using? She was about to pay $189 for a software when she already had Canva. And the free version was enough to do what she wanted to do. Again, you don't know what you don't know until you ask somebody. And it's inside of Convene. I've saved so much money because I'm able to ask different people from different disciplines questions. And it doesn't cost me a dime to show up and be present and give as much as I get. And I love it.
That's the thing, you know. Yes, we need to be compensated for what we're putting out there, but we're not here to grab your money. If we
That's
can
not
help
the reason.
someone save money, we're all for it.
Yep. Yep. Speaking of compensation, you see the donate button at the top of the corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead and donate and compensate Mr. Doc for the wonderful stuff that he does and the wonderful production that he gives us. So
I want to say a little bit more about compensation. So, you know, I might be charging, you know, $450 a module, but I give that back. If a doula brings in another doula,
Yeah.
I'm given a referral fee. And if that doula
Right.
brings in another doula, there's more referral fees, you know, to come. So, you know, doulas can easily make back the cost of their training by going out, doing their work, sharing their link with another person who says, I'm interested. I have one doula. Oh my gosh, she's sharing links. I get new members every day from this one doula. She gets on TikTok, she gets on Instagram, she makes these wonderful videos about how much she loves the doula training program she's a part of. So, you know, that is how we grow. And you know, it just makes all the sense in the world.
yeah. Couple of minutes left here. It seems like it's flown by. Great conversation. So
Yeah.
I'll leave you guys with this, and any one of you can start. So what makes us different? What makes Convene different, right? That's the topic. So let's just say somebody calls you up, hits you up tomorrow, text you, hey, heard the podcast. I saw the, you know, the reasons for, but really, just you and me now. Tell me why I should jump on Convene. What are you going to tell them?
Because it's a platform with a purpose where like-minded individuals come to be the better version of themselves as they help other people reach their highest goals as they reach their own.
Nailed it.
I don't know if I
Well,
can
see you later, guys.
I can beat that, you know, but I think to train with other people is a real benefit you're not going to get from the other platforms. You can really be face to face and help one another.
Right.
Yeah.
Doc?
Because I'll break your frickin' knees if you don't.
Bad
I know a guy. Forget about it.
He knows a guy.
Perfect. Great job, Doc. Great job. So, well, I'd echo a lot of that. You know, I referenced the student that I have on that's starting the group, and probably the greatest thing that she said in terms of the platform, in terms of this topic, is she was looking for a place to tell her story, and she's you know, Instagram and Snapchat and everything that they're all using now, TikTok. And she said, look, Mr. Bates, and I just remember us using Convene last year and telling our stories, a little bit of anonymity. And she says, it's the perfect spot for me. She goes, not only for me, because she's pretty comfortable now talking about the topic she's going to put out there, but for all the teens and tweens and young adults that might not be comfortable with it. It's like, it's a perfect spot with the anonymity piece. They can truly answer the questions and talk about and ask questions for who they are. So I think it's a wonderful platform. I know you guys think it's a wonderful platform. I'm excited for the year. Yep.
She's got a great story and something to share. Yeah. Like, you know, everybody who comes to Convene, and particularly in this day and age, we need to help one another. So we shouldn't, you know, keep it private. You know, Convene gives us a place to share, even if we want to stay anonymous. But certainly, you know, keeping our experience from one another can actually harm more. You know, it can harm. It can be harmful. Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Well, I would just like to thank everyone for coming on tonight, and those that are in the room participating. We really appreciate it. It's been fun. It really has gone by fast. So thank you everyone for coming on, and we will see you guys next week.
Yeah.